Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has described the ships heading for Gaza, which Israeli commandos boarded on Monday, killing at least 9 activists, as a flotilla of terror. Israel has faced worldwide condemnation after a military operation intercepted the ships carrying aid. Diplomatic pressure is increasing as activists are deported back to their own countries and start to tell their own stories of what happened. Our international editor, Lindsay Hilsum, is in Jerusalem. Lindsay.
John, Prime Minister Netanyahu said this wasn't a love boat, it was a hate boat. What he said was that the Israeli commandos had acted to protect the security of Israeli people and they had no choice because it could have been carrying weapons. This doesn't seem to be convincing the rest of the world, who are suggesting, including the British Foreign Secretary today, suggesting that Israel's action had been disproportionate. But the Israeli government also now wants to shut this story down. It really doesn't want any more diplomatic fuss. So what it's doing is it's trying to deport the activists who it has detained as quickly as possible. Over the Allenby Bridge and into Jordan. 123 activists released and deported this morning, unrepentant and angry. Theirs is a very different version of events from that given by the Israelis yesterday.
They fired with some rubber bullet, but after some time they used live ammunition. 5 were dead on the spot, and after that we surrender. They tied us.
Total of 16 deaths.
Total 16. 16 total deaths, 16. They tied us for 15 hours from the sea to Ashdod.
All through the day, buses arrived at Ben Gurion Airport. The Israelis are deporting as many activists as quickly as possible, even though it means bad publicity for Israel, as each goes home with a story to tell.
And then came one of these masked soldiers and said, "We have found guns, weapons on this boat, on this ship." And then, believe it or not, what he showed us was this. A razor. You think now I'm crazy or that I'm lying, but I'm not. He showed me, actually it was my razor. And he took off this and said, this is shot loaded, which meant it hasn't been used.
It was a really impressive assault. You had to be there. It was the middle of the night. There were speedboats, commandos with masks and weapons. They were armed in a very sophisticated manner. There was a helicopter and a military flotilla, and all of that came at the same time.
The violence was physical and psychological. Some of the people on our ship got electric shocks. They held guns to our heads as we were sat on the ground. They were taking videos of us, trying to humiliate us.
In the Israeli Knesset, it was chaos. An Arab Israeli member who'd been on board the flotilla called the commando raid a pirate act, whereupon a Jewish member went for her, shouting, "You're a traitor, you should move to Gaza." Quieter scenes in Westminster, where the Foreign Secretary criticised Israel's actions.
We will take the same principled stand across all our diplomatic efforts and stress to the Israeli government the need for it to act with restraint and in line with its international obligations, given that its actions appear to have gone beyond what was warranted or proportionate. We need to know whether more could have been done to minimise the risks or to reduce the number of deaths and injuries.
In the Turkish town of Diyarbakir, people mourned one of the activists killed in the raid. The Israelis maintain that the Turkish activists were Al-Qaeda terrorists. But outside Israel, that idea has little currency, and pressure on Israel to lift the blockade of Gaza is growing. The Irish government is particularly worried at the moment because there are many Irish nationals on board another ship called the MV Rachel Corrie. They say that they are going to try and enter Gazan waters and deliver aid to Gaza early next week. The Israelis say they won't allow that. They will intercept that ship despite what has happened. And so although the Israeli government wants this story to end, it appears that it is not over yet.
Lindsay Hilsum in Jerusalem.